This is Hayes Q Jones, your DVD and Blu-ray baller on a budget, and this is HQ Videos for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a current subscriber, what's up? You're greatly appreciated. Come on in, make yourself at home. You know the routine. This week for my collection video, I'm going to touch on a genre that's not necessarily my favorite, but my subgenre. It hits me in a certain way. I'm not a big fan of drama, but the subgenre of gangster mobster movies, a good mobster movie, I love. And let me preface this with I don't agree with intimidation, violence, extortion, any kind of mob tactics. I don't agree to that. I don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing anyone get bullied. However, there's something about mobster movies. I don't know if it's the swag that they have, these intricate stories of following codes and the consequences that people in the mob suffer from not following the codes. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a fascinating world. And I guess if you're not part of that world, I guess that makes it even more fascinating, whether it be the Italian mob, the Irish mob, Jewish, black mob, the triads, the Yakuza. All those things are fascinating. They have fascinating stories. And it seems like, I guess it's kind of like horror things. The more violent and more crazy it gets, the more interesting it gets. So these are my top 10, in my opinion, best mobster movies of all time. So without further ado, sit back, relax, have a drink, have a smoke, and I'll catch you on the other end of this video. We're back in the Black Cave. Back in the Black Cave. We are back in the motherfucking Black Cave. I'm going to jump into it with my number 10 pick. This movie doesn't get a lot of shine, in my opinion. This is the 2006 crime drama thriller, The Departed. This was directed by Martin Scorsese, produced by Michael Aguilar, written by William Monahan. This stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, Martin Sheen, Vera Farmiga, Alec Baldwin. I think those are the big names out of there. The plot behind this: to take down South Boston's Irish Mafia, the police send in one of their own to infiltrate the underworld, not realizing the syndicate had done likewise. While an undercover cop curries favor with the mob kingpin, a career criminal rises through the police ranks. But both sides soon discover there's a mole among them. And with all the movies I've listed here, they all have iconic scenes, great line, great actors. The most memorable scene in here for me was, and I'm paraphrasing it, a scene with Jack Nicholson. And he says, does it really matter when you're staring down the barrel of a gun if the guy who's holding the gun is a good guy or a bad guy? That's just classic stuff. Classic stuff. It's a little slow in parts though, but again, with all the great names in here, again, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jack Nicholson, Matt Damon, it really makes for a really great story. And you have the dual moles on the gangster side and the police side, both trying to infiltrate the other side. So great story, great actors. My number 10 pick, The Departed. My number 9 pick, this is the 1987 action crime drama film noir thriller, The Untouchables, directed by Brian De Palma, produced by Raymond Hartwick, written by David Mamet. This stars Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, Charles Martin Smith, Andy Garcia, Robert De Niro, Billy Drago. Those are the biggest names in that. The plot behind this: young Treasury agent Elliot Ness arrives in Chicago and is determined to take down Al Capone, but it's not going to be easy because Capone has the police in his pocket. Ness meets Jim Malone, a veteran patrolman and probably the most honorable on the force. He asks Malone to help him get Capone, but Malone warns him that if he goes after Capone, he's going to war. And another fantastic movie. Not a big Kevin Costner fan. I do like Andy Garcia, Sean Connery, and just like most of these movies, again, great acting, great directing, great script, but you have these outstanding performances. There's always some iconic scene, and this one is with Al Pacino at the dinner table with all the other mobsters and the baseball bat. If you haven't seen that, I won't spoil it for you though, but very iconic scene. The other one, Sean Connery, again, I'm paraphrasing. He sent one of yours to the hospital. We sent three of theirs to the morgue. Again, just full of kind of iconic scenes like that. So my number 9 pick, The Untouchables. My number 8 pick is the 1993 action crime drama film, Carlito's Way. This is directed by Brian De Palma, produced by Martin Bergman, written by Edwin Torres. This stars Al Pacino, Sean Penn, Penelope Ann Miller, John Leguizamo, Luis Guzman, and let me see, those are pretty much the biggest names in that one. The plot behind this: a Puerto Rican ex-con just released from prison pledges to stay away from drugs and violence despite the pressures around him and lead a better life outside New York City. And the scene that I remember mostly on this one is when Al Pacino's in the subway and a bunch of guys try to hold him up. And again, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it from you, though. Classic scene. Sean Penn plays a very different type of role. He plays an attorney, this balding attorney that is just as shady as Carlito's past in this movie. But Al Pacino does a fantastic job, just shows his range as an actor, from playing Italian Americans to Cuban Americans to Puerto Rican Americans. So my number 8 pick for all-time gangster movies, Al Pacino's Carlito's Way. And before I forget, because I forgot the other one, this is a Universal pick. This one is Paramount, and Departed is Warner Brothers. So again, number 8 pick, Carlito's Way. My number 7 pick is the 1992 crime drama thriller Reservoir Dogs. This is directed and written by Quentin Tarantino, produced by Lawrence Bender. This stars Harvey Keitel, Tim Roth, Michael Madsen, Chris Penn, Steve Buscemi. Quentin Tarantino has a part in here. Those are the biggest names. The plot behind this: a botched robbery indicates a police informant and the pressure mounts in the aftermath at a warehouse. Crime begets violence at the survivors: veteran Mr. White, newcomer Mr. Orange, psychopathic parolee Mr. Blonde, bickering weasel Mr. Pink, and nice guy Eddie unravel. And I got this on a multi-pack. That's Grifters, Trainspotting, excellent movies, but we're talking about Reservoir Dogs. Quentin Tarantino just has this way of kind of bringing the noir film to Reservoir Dogs, even though it's a 90s film, but it still has that kind of old gangster film. And just love the whole layout of it, where none of the guys know their names. They have to go by alternate names like Mr. White, Mr. Pink, Mr. Orange, Mr. Blonde. And great cast of characters, great acting. I love Harvey Keitel and Tim Roth in this. Again, just a beautifully shot, beautifully acted, beautifully written movie. So my number 7 pick, Reservoir Dogs. And as you see here, it says Miramax, but this is Miramax / Lionsgate release, Reservoir Dogs. My number 6 pick, this is the 1990 action crime drama thriller, King of New York. This was directed by Abel Ferrara, produced by Augusto,
Carlito, written by Nicholas St. John. This stars Christopher Walken, David Caruso when he was kind of popular, Lawrence Fishburne, Victor Argo, Wesley Snipes, Giancarlo Esposito, Steve Buscemi. Those are the big names on this. Oh, Dave Bautista's in here. Didn't realize that. Dave Bautista had a part in it. I need to go back and watch that. The plot behind this, a former drug lord returns from prison determined to wipe out all of his competition and distribute the profits of his operations to New York's poor and lower class in a stylish and ultra-violent modern twist on Robin Hood. I'm a big Christopher Walken fan. This has a lot of my favorite actors in here. Lawrence Fishburne, Wesley Snipes. I love Steve Buscemi, Giancarlo Esposito. And just the way this is shot, it looks like it's all at nighttime. It's very dark, very dreary. But you just have Christopher Walken playing this ultra calm, ultra violent, I don't want to say ex-gangster, but gangster who wants to somewhat right his wrongs. And he goes about it by pretty much ousting all the bad gangsters. So, and I swear this movie does get a lot of recognition as far as gangster movies. You hear about the ones I'm going to mention later on, but you never really hear about King of New York. And just a little side note, Christopher Walken plays this character called Frank White. If you're a hip-hop fan, you know the Notorious Big, may rest in peace. That was his AKA or his alias, the great Frank White. So my number 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 pick, Christopher Walken, King of New York. My number 5 pick, this is the 1994 crime drama, Pulp Fiction. And just in case I didn't do the last one is Lionsgate. Before I forget, this is Miramax, Lionsgate. A lot of Miramax, Lionsgate gangster movies. But this is, again, the 1994 crime drama Pulp Fiction. This was directed and written by Quentin Tarantino. This was produced by Lawrence Bender. This stars Samuel L. Jackson, Bruce Willis, Steve Buscemi, Christopher Walken. These names, you see a theme in this. Ving Rhames, John Travolta, Harvey Keitel, Uma Thurman, Tim Roth, Quentin Tarantino, Eric Stoltz, Rosanna Arquette. Those are pretty much all the big names. The plot behind this, a burger-loving hitman, his philosophical partner, a drug-addicted gangster, Maul, and a washed-up boxer coverage in this sprawling comedic crime caper. Their adventures unfurl in 3 stories that ingeniously trip back and forth in time. And this is a fantastic movie. I know when this came out, a lot of people were like, I don't get it. I didn't get it. I guess just putting it out of order just threw people off. The only complaint about the movie isn't about the movie itself, but how it was received. John Travolta, this movie kind of revamped his career, which was kind of stalling at the time. And I'll give him credit. Great scene with he and Uma Thurman, great chemistry, but the outstanding actor in this, without a doubt, was Samuel Jackson. Just the what scene. The kid was just like, what does Marcellus look like? Does he look like a bitch? That whole line. Or the, I will rain down thee with great vengeance and furious anger, those who attempt to destroy and poison, and I'm paraphrasing all that stuff though. He definitely made the movie. The scene with him and Tim Roth with the wallets is, we're all gonna be cool, all little Fonzarellas, we're all cool here. He just really crushed the movie. Everyone else had great parts. Bruce Willis, Tim Roth, Travolta, Uma Thurman, Harvey Keitel as the cleaner guy. I loved him as the cleaner guy. Just a fantastic movie, well written, well directed, well acted. But again, the outstanding person, and say with me if you're familiar with the channel, Samuel motherfucking Jackson. So my 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 pick, Pulp Fiction, Miramax, Lionsgate. My number 4 pick is the 2007 biography crime drama thriller, American Gangster. This is directed by Ridley Scott, produced by Sarah Bowen, written by Steven Zaillian. This stars Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe, Chiwetel Ejiofor, which I always kill that man's name. Josh Brolin, Ted Levine, the RZA from the Wu-Tang, Ruby Dee, Cuba Gooding Jr., Idris Elba, Common, the rapper Common. Those are most of the main names in there. The plot behind this found the death of his employer and mentor, Bumpy Johnson, and Lawrence Fishburne did a movie called Hoodlum about Bumpy Johnson. But Frank Lucas established himself as the #1 importer of heroin in the Harlem district of Manhattan. He does so by buying heroin directly from the source in Southeast Asia, and he comes up with a unique way of importing the drugs into the United States, partly based on a true story. And I love Denzel Washington. I like Russell Crowe. Great cast of characters, great storyline, but Denzel made the movie. There's a scene where he has a beef with another gangster, Idris Elba, and in public he does a very heinous act. If you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna spoil it for you though. But after he does the heinous act, he goes back to his brothers and cousins and just continues his breakfast like nothing ever happened. Fantastic film, again, based on a true story. If you want to get deeper into the story of Frank Lucas, you have to go back with Bumpy Johnson, and a good representation of that is the movie Hoodlum. Has Lawrence Fishburne, I think Andy Garcia's in there, Tim Roth, Vanessa Williams. So fantastic movie. But my number 4 pick, and who did this? Because I keep forgetting the distributor's Universal release. Number 4 pick, Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe, American Gangster. My number 3 pick, which shouldn't be a surprise, I think Scarface has to be in the top 3 of all, if not most, gangster pictures or best gangster pictures. This is 1993 crime drama film, Scarface. Directed by Brian De Palma, produced by Martin Bergman, and written by Oliver Stone. You can't go wrong with Oliver Stone and Brian De Palma. This stars Al Pacino, Stephen Bauer, Michelle Pfeiffer, Robert Loggia, F. Murray Abraham, and let me see. Those are most of the big names out there. The plot behind this: after getting a green card in exchange for assassinating a Cuban government official, Tony Montana stakes a claim of the drug trade in Miami. Viciously murdering anyone who stands in his way, Tony eventually becomes the biggest drug lord in the state, controlling nearly all the cocaine that comes through Miami. But increased pressure from the police, wars with the Colombian drug cartels, and his own drug-fueled paranoia serves to fuel the flames of his eventual downfall. And what can I say about Scarface? Very gory, very over the top for Al Pacino, but he pulls it off. I really can't imagine anybody else playing Scarface other than Al Pacino. Just a really great action film. It's slow. It's a little slow because it's how long is this movie? It's 100 minutes. No, I'm sorry. It's longer than that. How long is Scarface? Scarface is 170 minutes. So it's a little long. It kind of lulls in some spots, but that's when they're developing the character. They're showing you his background, his family, and pretty much the transformation he goes through from being an immigrant from Cuba to being the top drug lord in Miami. So my number 3 pick, and this is a steel case, Universal release, Scarface. My number 2 pick, which again shouldn't be a huge surprise, this is the 1990 biography crime drama, Goodfellas. This is directed by Martin Scorsese, produced by Barbara DeFina, written by Nicholas Pileggi. This stars Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci, Lorraine Bracco, Paul Sorvino, Frank Severo. Let's see. Those are the big names of this. The plot behind this: a true story of Henry Hill, a half Irish, half Sicilian Brooklyn kid who was adopted by the neighborhood gangsters at an early age and climbs the ranks of a mafia family under the guidance of Jimmy Conway. And again, all three of these guys held their own. From the opening scene where he talks about how he wants to be a gangster and how the kids carried his mom's groceries home, to Joe Pesci, the famous line is like, am I funny? Am I a joke? Do I make you laugh? That whole thing with Ray Liotta. And De Niro. De Niro is De Niro. He does his thing in the movie. So fantastic movie from beginning to end. Very long movie, just like the other 146 minutes. So, but this really goes by quickly. It goes by quickly, and you see the evolution of Hank Hill from, again, the half Irish, half Sicilian kid to being part of the most famous gangsters in the world. So if you haven't seen this, do yourself a favor. Definitely check out De Niro, Ray Liotta, may you rest in peace, Joe Pesci, Goodfellas. And this is a Warner Brothers release. And my number one pick, which again shouldn't be a huge surprise, this is the 1972 crime drama film, The Godfather. This was directed by Francis Ford Coppola, produced by Gary Fredrickson, written by Mario Puzo. This starred Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, James Caan, Richard S. Castellano, Robert Duvall, Diane Keaton, Abe Vigoda, Talia Shire from Rocky. Let's see other big names here. Those are the biggest names. The plot behind this: spanning the years of 1945 to 1955, a chronicle of the fictional Italian-American Corleone crime family. When organized crime family patriarch Vito Corleone barely survives an attempt on his life, his youngest son, Michael, steps in to take care of the would-be killers, launching a campaign of bloody revenge. And I just said the whole series. My favorite one probably would be Godfather 2. And if there was not a greater snub for the Academies, there's two great snubs in my opinion. One, Al Pacino in Godfather 2, and the second one, Denzel Washington and Malcolm X. They both should have won the Best Actor for their various roles. This is just a great chronicle of a crime story, of a crime family, but Al Pacino, you just see the evolution from him being the college kid who his dad wanted to stay out of the business, from him rising up in the ranks and having to do some unspeakable things inside his family and outside his family. The most powerful scene I've seen was in Godfather 2. And if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to give the plot away. But he has an issue with his brother, I can't think of his brother, Fredo. It was just like he gives Fredo like this kiss on the mouth. It was like, I know it was you, Fredo. And just that look of disappointment, anger, just everything. That was just an iconic move, iconic scene in a great movie. And of course, you have the scenes with the horse head in the bed and all that stuff. And you have there's Frank Lucca, who's preparing his words, his speech before he has to talk to Don Corleone. Just a fantastic movie. Looks fantastic. I'm not a big 4K guy, but I know they have a 4K version of this. I wouldn't mind seeing this in 4K, just to give it a new life, just to see it again, though. But fabulous film, fabulous trilogy. Number one pick of all time gangster movies, The Godfather. And Godfather, by the way, is a Paramount release. And these are my top 10 best gangster movies of all time. If you made this far in the video, smash a like. Give me the big thumbs up. If I left any out, your favorites, please leave it in the comments. Other than that, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Don't forget to subscribe. Deuces.